All right, next stop is the Commerce Building at 670 Broad Street. We're going to go in and meet our friends with Allison South. We're going to meet Cynthia and Kate and architects Christopher Booker and Nathan Vick, and we're going to learn more about why this location is so pivotal for their marketing business. So come on in and let's meet Cynthia. Welcome, Robin. Thank you, Cynthia. I am so excited to be here today. This is one of my favorite buildings, and when I moved to Augusta, it was vacant. So tell me a little bit about Allison South and what you all do.
Well, Allison South is a full-service marketing agency, and we handle everything in-house, from the marketing plan to videos to websites to social media. So we have a full scope of capacity here, and we're very excited to be in Augusta, downtown.
What a great place to be in downtown Augusta. This is like an artery for downtown. So you see everything, you hear everything. What drew you to this building and this location?
Well, the building is absolutely beautiful, and we just love the location, especially next to the Miller Theater, and it's their opening and that energy that was happening here. So we were very excited to talk to Chris Booker, who owns the building, and have that opportunity to be located here.
Absolutely. And talking about energy, I love this workspace. And the last time I was in here, it was looking very rough, but you've definitely created a creative space. And it looks like y'all have really made this home, and you've got some amazing kind of attributes, I guess, to work towards with your social media needs and your marketing needs. So I feel like this is a nice, cozy, creative space. What is your favorite part about this space?
Well, thank you very much. And our team is very creative, from strategy to the design. And you can see that all around you. And they did this, our entire team developed this from the beginning concepts of the basic wall finishes, and keeping a lot of the original look to it, and uncovering these magnificent cast iron columns. So the columns obviously stand out, but it's really the space and the camaraderie, even during COVID, that we're able to accomplish in this space that allows us to work together but still have that distance.
Absolutely. I mean, character defining features, the hardwood floors, the columns, like you said. I've always loved these original ceilings, and they're replicated on the second and the third floor. So
it would be hard to afford to make those ceilings today.
Exactly, and that is something that we try to tell people. The greatest building is the one already built, and you're never going to get something with this character today. What is something that you kind of see coming to fruition in downtown Augusta? Because I know you all have some exciting news of your own, but it just seems like there is so much more energy in downtown.
Well, this is a perfect time for me to introduce you to Kate Sanders, a native Augustan, and she is our Chief Operating Officer, and she's in charge of those expansion plans. I would love for her to tell you about it.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, thank you for having us here at Allison South. So I know you all have some really exciting expansion plans, because as you can see,
yes,
you have filled up this great historic space.
We're completely full. We moved in here June of 2018, and I think maybe 4 to 6 people were going to be in this office.
Yes.
And then, you know, our downtown Aiken office is where we were started, and we still had at the time maybe 13 people in that office. And so we have completely maxed out here, filled to the brim. So we're very excited to expand in the space right behind us.
Well, awesome. I know that there is a second entrance to that space. It is under construction. It's extremely raw, but our audience loves raw spaces. So how about if I follow you out and we can go take a peek? So are you all going to be able to go between the spaces when your expansion is complete?
We will come out right here. So where we're going to walk in, that is currently just a wall opening, will be a door. So we'll come outside and walk in right here.
Great.
And then the main door to the whole space will be a little bit further down.
Fantastic. So I'm excited to take a peek inside because ironically, this is a storefront that has been completely covered over.
Yes, boarded.
Really kind of frozen in time, and what's behind it is really a diamond in the rough.
Yes.
So why don't we step
Let's
inside
go.
to your future expansion? Walking through, this space has so much potential.
Yes.
It also has some great character defining features like the columns and the storefront that has really been boarded up and hidden from
It'll
view
be all
for
windows.
a long time. So I think this is a great time to invite Nathan Vick in to
Yes.
kind of talk about what this is going to look like. Maybe this will be a good stop for Loft Tour 2021.
Absolutely.
Come on in, Nathan. So, you two, please tell us what the grand vision is.
Okay, so when I started with South 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, I was the fifth full-time employee. So in 5 years, we've grown from 5 employees to 40.
Wow.
We have an office in Fort Lauderdale, and then, like I said, in Aiken, and then in Augusta, we have grown so much that we are now expanding and putting our creative team, our digital team, our web team, our PR team, our social team, all in this space back here. So the front section will mostly be client relations, account managers, business development, and then everybody back here will be really our creative people.
So it's a big open space. How are you all going to develop this great historic storefront? And tell us a little bit about this building and what you all have found during your rehab.
This building, we are pretty sure, was built in 1890. There was a major renovation in the late 50s, early 60s, which pretty much covered all the historic storefront. It covered up historic columns, so that was some of the really exciting stuff that when we started doing demo in here, and it was really rough. We started taking down old plaster walls, started taking off wood panels, and we found some beautiful cast iron columns. We also found some fluted columns in the middle of the space. We found some pretty cool artwork, interesting artwork on the walls. All of that was actually from a bar that was here in the 60s. And there's some, you talk to some politicians and some lawyers around town, and they have some stories.
From the bar.
From the bar. So, and there's actually, so we knew there was a bar. Actually, there was also a liquor store in this first floor at one time as well, on the far left side or right side if you're looking from Sonesford. And that's what the other door was for that's over there. I don't know if you ever knew that.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, and that's actually where the entrance to the apartments is going to be. So.
And you mentioned the apartments.
Yep.
There are going to be 4 apartments on
Yes.
the second and third floor here. So what are some of the challenges that you all are having designing the space for the creativeness of the agency while doing that residential rehab?
Well, I'll tell you, so one of the challenges for us is, like I said, in 2018, we were moving into the front space and we thought, it's going to take us forever to fill this. And then like that, it was full. And so we're trying to make sure back here that we really plan not just for what we need right now, but for what we'll need, you know, over the next couple of years so that we can grow into the space and really be innovative with our business and our business model in the space. So like we're putting a podcast studio in that people can rent, like the public can rent the podcast studio if they do podcasts. We'll have a photography studio in here that's soundproof. So, you know, if when we need to do voiceovers and things like that, we'll have an area for that. And for product, we do a lot of product photography. So we'll have a space for that in the podcast room, in addition to all of the space for the creative team.
That is awesome.
Challenges, I wouldn't say challenges on the architecture side. Obviously separation, all the stuff that nobody really cares about, but we have to deal with. But really, it's a historic tax credit project. So working with them, there's been a little bit of give and take, like, hey, we need to do this so we get to qualify for historic tax credits, and just a little bit of give and take. And when it comes to finishes, what finishes are we going to use? And they've been really flexible just so we know that we're going to get the historic tax credits that we need to make this project work. So.
And it's so nice to work with an architect that also owns the building, because they have a vested interest in the space too. So, you know, and they did such a beautiful job upstairs in their office that when we started talking about downstairs, we just said, well, we want it to look like your office. So it was nice, you know, they were able to use a lot of the lighting and things like that that they had done upstairs. So we get to really trust them with the whole process because, like I said, they're very invested in the way this all turns out as the owners of the building.
Exactly.
In this space, it's a hidden little gem. I don't think any of us really realized the potential of this space. With some of the arched openings that are in here, some of the artwork that's on the wall, the columns, the cast iron columns, we're really excited to see the transformation in the next few months.
And that's what we like as Historic Augusta, are seeing these buildings being placed into service and hearing those stories. Because without you all having the vision, this may be boarded up for another 20, 30 years and might not be salvageable beyond that. So.
They are the reason this project is going forward. So they came to us and said, we need more space, and we said, we got some space for you, and it's very exciting.
Thank you for showing us your expansion project.
Yeah.
We are so excited to see how that's going to end up. And you were mentioning too, when we were talking about the apartments that are going to be upstairs.
Yeah.
What do you think attracts younger employees to you in Augusta?
Well, I will say we have quite a few young employees that live downtown, and they walk to work all the time. You know, they live in the J.B. White's building. They live at Chloe Donahue. I know y'all did her loft tour. She's over, I think it's the Peach building, maybe?
The Wagon Works, yes.
Yes, Wagon Works, that's it. And so we have a lot of employees that work downtown that walk. And for our young employees, especially who've moved here back home, maybe from Atlanta, or we have an employee that lives in the White's building that's from Raleigh, you know, they're used to a bigger city. They're used to being able to maybe walk, you know, in that type of situation. And it was really attractive to them to have a job downtown and close to where they live so that they can work, so that they can walk.
That is really exciting, and I've been hearing a lot of that too. So it is awesome that you guys are such a role model for this whole idea of why revitalization in downtown is so important, bringing the businesses, bringing the people, and bringing the other businesses like restaurants and retail that come along with it. So we say thank you for being an example of what
we are happy to do it. And I know Cynthia mentioned I'm an Augusta native, so when we talked about moving our office from Columbia Road downtown, I said, you know, I want to help talk about the location. You know, this is really exciting to me as our resident, you know, Augusta person on our leadership team. And so I grew up coming downtown, and my grandmother taking me to Woolworths, and my mom telling me about seeing Percy Sledge at the Miller Theater.
Yes.
And so it was very exciting to me for us to be part of the revitalization for downtown, because I want to be able to bring my grandkids down here and tell them about the same kind of things that I got to experience growing up.
Fantastic. Well, y'all are great stewards of this building, and y'all are great neighbors to us, and so we just appreciate the time.
Well, we appreciate y'all.
Great.